Ladies and gents, welcome back, guys. What a week in the stock market. What a week in the crypto world. Everything dropping and pulling back. Some things don't make sense to everybody, so we're going to try and make sense over here in this video. And really, there is always an explanation to what's going on in the markets. And this was global, basically, corrections. So let's talk about it here. We're going to go through some trades as well from last week because majority of them were shorts. And of course, they were outrageous. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about the pattern we should be trading in such markets. Do not skip this video. Let's go. Well, let's get right into it, guys. First of all, smashy, because there's always value in these videos. I'm looking at a beautiful view right now to compensate for what's going on in the stock market. So here's what's going on, guys. As you can see, Netflix here took a hit by $100 plus. 22%. Now, for many people, Netflix is probably disregarded, but Netflix is probably the reason why the market took a tumble this Friday and crashed. And I'll explain to you why. Right? Of course, Netflix is just the fuse, but what's happening here? Netflix came out and said our user growth is dropping. So, user growth for many social media companies and streaming companies is important because growth in users means more revenue. So the aftermath of the pandemic is being shown now. So this is the reason why markets are dropping is because the aftermath, the rug being pulled from under the economy, is really scaring investors. So let me explain to you what that means. So before 2020, we had organic growth, and then the market crashed February. Then artificial money flew in from the feds and government to support the businesses and the economy in the form of bond purchases and interest being lowered. So now this caused inflation because companies started performing well, and money kept coming in. Interest was still there, and there's so much borrowing. So the artificial money is now being retracted, and that's in the form of tapering. So tapering is when the Feds stop buying bonds, and they'll have to hike interest to tackle inflation. So what that means is now companies are left alone. Stocks and companies like Netflix are alone, and they have to show investors that they are being self-sustainable. And Netflix is just a piece of the puzzle. Of course, it's all other stocks in the stock market, but Netflix was the trigger that caused all of this to happen because investors were looking at, and this is how the market works. Netflix is in one category. If Netflix shows earning reports that are not that great, of course it's gonna trigger a domino effect on other stocks in the same category. So that's why the market tumbled, is because a lot of investors looked at Netflix earnings as a negative thing, and they sold their Facebook shares, their Twitter, their Snapchat, their RockU shares, which is really the trade that I took alongside the team yesterday, and we absolutely destroyed it. So RockU as well was one of those. Matter of fact, here is a trade that I took, and I'm gonna just put it here. It was a short position on the Nasdaq, and I shared this on Twitter about on Instagram about hours before even the U.S. market opened up, before New York woke up, before California woke up. I shared this Middle Eastern time where I am currently. So I shared all of these tickers, and I said we're gonna short them. They're gonna suffer, and surely they did, guys. So I want to give a special shout out to these guys who even on a week where there was choppiness and even markets really reacting negatively, we still came out majority green, profitable. And that's because we can also profit off the downtrend by shorting, which is what this trade was a short position on the Nasdaq. We came out with about 10 grand. So RockU is also a short position. But nevertheless, let's go back to really what we should expect, because it's not just the stock market that took a hit, it's also Bitcoin and cryptos. Well, guys, money outflow from assets, it's a domino effect everywhere. Okay, I mean, we seen in 2020, 2021, everybody was buying cryptos, pumping dumps, Everybody was hyping up Kathy Woods, which I warned about that firm, by the way. Ended up buying Piton at the peak, and Coinbase. Now, that's not to say these companies won't recover, and of course they will recover, because now if we look at Netflix, you can see Netflix is down from its all-time high. Matter of fact, in 2019, it was at 350 or so in January. So now we're almost near that January figure before the crash. So I think stocks are becoming fairly valued soon. I think there's more drops coming. There's more sell-offs in the next week or two. But here's the pattern that we should be trading. Um, when there is macroeconomics, the Fed speaking, talking, anything out there, you're going to see stocks pumping upwards, finding resistance, coming back down, just because there's too much pressure piling up here, right? That keeps pushing stocks down. So that's why I said in this game plan on Friday that you can play the long position if you wish, the bounce, but I'm going to short the drop. And surely that's what I did on RockQ. A lot of you got to do well, matter of fact. So with that being said, uh, we're gonna have a market that really is scared. It's gonna be one of those things where you're gonna see stocks behaving in a sideways manner. So they'll be going sideways and consolidating. And this could take weeks before starting to recover. But it's not over. There's still more sell offs, I believe, because the interest hikes haven't happened yet. Tapering hasn't happened. And investors' confidence in a lot of the markets are really being shadowed. But nevertheless, it doesn't matter where the market is heading. We're still going to trade. We're still going to make money on the downtrend. Of course, we have to look at the market sentiment every day. But that's my analysis, guys. Hopefully, this quick analysis gave you guys some psychology, because you need to understand this when trading. It's not just charts and whatnot. You need to look at the overall market sentiment when making decisions. But that's me done. See you guys soon. Before I go, I want you guys to have a look at the website. We've updated it. We've looked at some things to benefit traders. And you can see here, guys, we have partnered up with a private investment firm to offer our traders trading accounts, or you can call them prop accounts. So this might benefit a lot of you because it limits your risk. Check it out, see how it is, see if it benefits you. Otherwise, stick with what you're doing, and hopefully you get to do well. And I'll see you guys on Instagram or Twitter. Follow me on Twitter so you don't miss more of my shouts. Peace, guys.